Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Affaka Show. And I had to move up my chair because I am that short, but I'm a short man with big dreams. Welcome back, NFL Week 2. My God, we are off to a start. Jordan Love threw the ball, and guess what? People caught the ball. Tucker Kraft, bad boy, caught the ball. I'll get more into that in a second. Anyway, I had Green Bay at -3. Absolutely loved the outcome there. Green Bay smacked the Commanders. Let's just be honest, Green Bay is basically Super Bowl champs. That whole, Brett Favre won it when he was 27, Aaron Rodgers may run it when he was 27, and then you have Jordan Love, who is 27, older than me, but not by much. And Jordan Love, he really looks like that guy. He was throwing the ball, just absolutely airing it out. Tucker Kraft was used an insane amount. And now there's one person out there on the TikTok Live that asked me, should I play Tucker Kraft? I said yes. And you're welcome. That's all I can say. I don't care if the other tight end that you're comparing the two against does better. You're welcome. Tucker Kraft did phenomenal. And he has one of those cool tattoos and a vibe to him that's just like, I'm going to take your girlfriend and there's nothing you can do about it. But he's not one of those people that are just going to shove you in a locker. He's going to come to you and he's so nice about it that you're like, all right, man, like it's cool. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously she wants to be with you, not me. That's the type of cool Tucker Kraft was. Over 100 receiving yards. If you bet Jaden Daniels and Jordan Love 15 plus passing yards each quarter, that would have lost. I did that and it lost. Thanks, Jaden. Jaden, you did not play well. You could not get your feet going. You couldn't get running. Are we thinking sophomore slump? I don't want to say it. I think Jaden Daniels is great, but at some point you might have to start thinking sophomore slump. I don't think it's because of him though. It's really due to his team. They could not block for him. Austin Eckler went down, which is just bad because you do want a veteran back who has a lot of pass catching ability. However, now you do not. Scary Terry's not playing to where he wants to. We do love how Debo has been activated a bit, but we want to make him a receiver first, running back second. Overall, we had Packers -3. It was a big win. Our win total on the season right now is 8-5. That is 61%. That means you're winning if you're following this show. So let's dive into the games this week because my God, do we have a couple. Also, to take off the schedule this week, 2 Monday night games, that's an absolute crime. And then also 3 late game window games, that's an absolute crime. But at least the Eagles are playing the Chiefs and that's going to be prime time. But it's honestly going to be a slugfest and no one's really going to like it. Speaking of teams no one likes, Miami Dolphins. We have the Patriots visiting the Dolphins in Miami. Right now, Miami is 2.5-point favorites with 61% of the bets and 49% of the money backing them. New England Patriots, they had a weird, rainy game last week against the Raiders, and it just felt like it was one for them to lose because the Raiders are going to be better than what people are expecting. Nobody really stood out offensively. I get it. Booty had a big day, but when does Booty not have a big day? Shout out Nicki Minaj. Overall, they didn't really look great. Drake May wasn't moving the ball at will as everyone was like, oh my God, this Patriots team. But Vrabel's going to have his guys coach and ready for this bounce back spot. Speaking of coaches, Mike McDaniel, not that great. Also though, I don't blame him. I mean, Tyreek Hill is a huge problem. If I was to tell Tyreek Hill to go do something, he's just going to say no, stare at me. I'm just going to go, yes, sir, and just put my head down. And that's probably exactly what McDaniels does. Overall, though, on a serious note, they looked horrible. They could not protect Tua. If you can't protect Tua, he can't carve up the defenses. I get it. It's a lot of quick passes. A-Chain looked great. However, if you can't protect Tua, you're not going to do well. The Dolphins, they are in super bad category. They'll tank. I don't know what Tua's future looks like. That's the future. If you want to look in the past, take a picture, open up in the book. Tua and McDaniel are 4-0 against the spread against the Patriots. There is some hope. There's some history there. Maybe it could be some terms of mind game. It's hard to trust Miami as a favorite in this spot, especially one of 2.5. That's a key number, this 2.5 in the NFL, as we've seen. Like, if you had the Ravens at +2.5, you would have won against the Bills. Simple as that. If you had the Falcons at 2.5 against the Bucks, you wouldn't have won because Young Wei Koo does not know how to use his foot to hit the pigskin. It's always tough to play Miami. I don't care. I have to back the Patriots here. I love them at +2.5. We have the Browns visiting the Ravens. Right now, the line is at 12.5 with 46% of the bets and 64% of the money backing the Ravens. This is a Joe Flacco revenge game. People, don't forget, he took them to the Super Bowl and won, but then they hung him out to dry. So now he has to play against their rival. Now, is their rival as good as him? No, but baby, this is the AFC North, and things get weirder than a Goosebumps book up in here. The only issue with Joe Flacco now versus when he was on the Falcons is the fact that he's super old. I mean, driving around, coffee in his lap, flipping through the CD catalog to pick which one makes the most sense type of old. That's not young, that's old. Jerry Jeudy disappointed me. He had a lot of catches he could have caught. However, he did not. However, he did do a shirtless press conference. I wish I had the body to do a shirtless press conference. I have the type of body where I wear a t-shirt at the beach and tell people it's because of the sun. But we all know it's not because of the sun. It's because of this body. Hashtag too much hair. The Baltimore Ravens, they scored 40 last week and still lost, which it was basically a statistical anomaly. I mean, they were up by 15 with, it was, I don't know, whatever, 4 minutes left in the fourth. Sad, sad, sad. Josh Allen is him. We'll get to him in a second. However, I love the Ravens to have more of a bounce back spot here and really impose their will on the Cleveland Browns. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, now we know we cannot take off the brakes. Simple as that. Well, won't you look at that? We have a little bit of light up here, but to be honest, it is blinding me. But I cannot read right now if you put words in front of me, but oh baby, am I just reading the board right now. The Ravens are a double-digit favorite. Double-digit favorites who lost in week 1 outright are 5-12 against the spread. In this Ravens team, they always have a fluky game against a bad team. We saw it week 2, I believe, with the Raiders last year. It was week 3. It was too early in the season, and they did lose week 1 against the Chiefs. History, I've seen at 12.5 and 11.5 at a bunch of different books. I locked it down 12.5 before kickoff last weekend. I love them in this spot. Get them at 11.5. Don't get them anything less than that. Giants versus Cowboys. Right now, the Cowboys are 4.5-point favorites, with 52% of the bets and 82% of the money backing them. Now, Eagles fans are going to come at me for saying this. I hate the Giants more than I hate the Cowboys. I know it's very controversial. You should be hating the Cowboys. I think it's because I live in New York City. I know some more Giants fans, but I just want to absolutely rub it in their face, the fact that they are the worst in the NFC East. And transparently, they have the worst quarterback by far, Russell Wilson. Sure, there's a bright future ahead with Jackson Dart, but Russell Wilson is just that type of guy who he comes around and you really don't like him, and then he's kind of nice and you're like, okay, and then something happens and you remember, oh, this guy sucks. I don't want to be his friend anymore. That's the vibe I get. Russell Wilson, if you want to be my friend, I'm open to give it a trial, 2-week trial. You don't have to put down your Apple Pay card. Everything will be secure. They need the Jackson Dart card yesterday. They only scored 6 points against the Commanders, yet they had multiple red zone trips, so you tell me the math is not adding up. Dallas Cowboys, I'll be honest, they did impress me against the Eagles. Now, maybe it's because Dak Prescott was a little baby boy and spat near Jalen Carter, and then Jalen Carter had a real man's loogie and got on him. That might have been the deciding factor, is because the Eagles' pass rush isn't at full force without Jalen Carter. They still got to Dak, though, and he almost had a couple bad plays. Dak's dominance over the NFC East is real. He's 13-2 straight up and 10-5 against the spread when he's playing the Giants. Also, he just beats up bad teams. Good teams, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about the playoffs. He's 32-16-2 against teams who are under 500. Technically, you own one, you're under 500. The run game did have a bit of juice to it with Javonte Williams, but the Giants can actually stop the run, so I do anticipate Dak to air it out to Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, he has to have a bounce back game. I mean, that was bad. There were more drop balls in that game than a game of dodgeball when two people are really bad and it's at the end and they keep holding the ball and they hit it away instead of actually just throwing the ball or catching it, because there's always that one kid who just sits in the corner. No fun. Throw the thing. I know the public perception is down on this Giants, and that's my public perception as well. What do you want from me? I'm a dum-dum. I'm part of the public. I'm going to back the Cowboys here at -4.5. I just don't see a world where the Giants can get this thing going. Jets versus Bills. Right now, the Jets are 6.5-point dogs at home with 52% of the bets and 42% of the money backing them. Reading that, I know I wrote it down, I double checked. It's still weird that the public is believing this much in the Jets, especially after the Bills. Maybe this is more sharp people getting in their bets earlier this week. I do anticipate this line to move more towards 7, 7.5. One, the Buffalo Bills came down big. They came out swinging, probably because Haley Steinfeld was in the stands. I wish I was in the stands, or that Haley Steinfeld liked me, or that we were just casual friends, and I could be like, oh, Haley, we're going for coffee today. And she'll get a latte, I get a black coffee. It's fun. We like to have fun. We talk dirt. She'll be like, oh, Josh doesn't pick up his stuff. And I'll be like, oh, girl A doesn't pick up her stuff. I don't know. We'd be friends. We'd yap. The Bills, they came back from a statistical anomaly that I mentioned earlier, down 15, 4 minutes left, blah, 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 blah. If you're watching this, that means you've consumed so much NFL content that you're really just scraping the bottom of the barrel. So I appreciate it, but that means I know that you already know all about that. He might be the best quarterback in the league. I still think Mahomes takes it for me, but Keon Coleman, I was telling everyone, watch out for this guy last year. I was just a year too early. He is really making that year 2 jump. I believe in him this year. They're just a relentless team. It doesn't matter how much they're down by. They're going to show up. They're going to get work done, kind of like SpongeBob with the Krabby Patty, but they're also so relentless. It doesn't stop there. Mr. Krabs is just protecting that thing and is also as relentless as Plankton trying to go after it. It doesn't matter if you fail. It's about how hard you get up and you keep fighting. Then we have the Ohio State Jets, aka the Ohio State Jets. Ohio State, great football, and turns out Justin Fields might be able to play. The Jets don't seem like they're making him as much as a pocket passer as they've seen in the past. Defense just needs to do the bare minimum here and really start to slow down the Bills' run scheme, and also maybe just make Josh Allen earn it with quick little throws instead of these long bombs. It's a divisional matchup, so it's always going to be tighter as well. The line's sitting at 6.5. What I mentioned, hey, if it hits that key number of 7, this is an absolute no-brainer. So this stat for the Bills, shout out Evan Abrams, is definitely a little bit interesting. Teams that are down by more than 14 points or 14 points or more actually come back to next week not doing so hot like the Bills did. Those teams are 55-70 straight up, 53-72-1 against the spread. On the road, that number gets even worse, being 23-39 against the spread. Public's going to hammer the Bills. I don't care. Give me the Jets here. That's my official pick at 6.5 because it's where it's at now. You know it's going to get to 7. Wait till kickoff. Colts versus Broncos. Right now, the Colts are 2.5-point dogs, with 54% of the bets and 76% of the money backing them. We've seen this ping pong from 2.5 to 1, 2.5 to 1, 2.5 to 1. So honestly, whichever side you want to land on, just wait until you hit one of those numbers. Loved what we saw of the Colts last week. Now, are the Dolphins just atrocious and that's what happened? Yes. I don't care though. It might not actually be Giants' fault that they paid Daniel Jones because they thought that he was going to be good. They might have been right in that. The Giants must have just stunk more than Oscar the Grouch when he's been filming for 5 days straight. Get out of that trash can, man. What are you doing? He might be that guy. Overall, the Colts look great. They're running the ball. They're throwing the ball. I don't know. I stopped watching the game because they're that great. On the other hand, the Broncos, they were fantastic, but they did struggle a little bit. They gave up some chunk plays to this Tennessee Titans team, which it was a rookie quarterback, and I wasn't really expecting much. However, this Broncos team did not cover the spread whatsoever. Bo Nix did look a little bit frazzled. Maybe it's another sophomore slump alert. Sharp movement, again, has really been driving this number down towards public money. Is going to be all over Denver, but that's going to be a sucker bet. I wouldn't even be shocked if I see the Colts win this thing outright. And even by saying that, I'm like, I don't see a way that they do, but sometimes you just got to go in your heart of hearts and believe. Chiefs versus Eagles. This is the prime time game pretty much. I understand it's not the standalone night game. However, the Eagles are 1.5-point favorites. There's only 3 games in the 4 o'clock slot. So you tell me, they're basically saying, hey, here's a mini primetime game because there's 2 Monday Night Football games. Why are we doing it? Right now, the Chiefs have 62% of the bets and 18% of the money backing them. We saw a lot of sharp movement with this Chiefs team at them being 1.5-point favorites, now 1.5-point dogs. The offensive line is not great for Mahomes. Sorry, it got a lot worse. He felt a ton of pressure from this Chargers team. He still had some Mahomes magic like that 4th and 4, which was incredible. However, he has no receivers to throw to anymore, which might turn out to be a bit of a problem. You're going to need Rashee Rice or Xavier Worthy, at least one of your top 2 to catch the ball. He does not have that. He's going to be throwing to Hollywood Brown, who's my height, sad. And he's also going to be throwing for Juju Smith-Schuster, who is early on TikTok, but does not have that much of a presence anymore with dancing and stuff. Sad. Unless he does, but no one talks about him because that's how irrelevant he is now. Also, coming back from the Brazil trip, I mean, come on. You're telling me they didn't have any fun in Brazil? They didn't have any fun in Brazil leading up to that? They're going to be fatigued as anything. Now, coming back to the Eagles. They played Thursday night, so I guess both on extended rest. However, the Eagles have another extra day, and they're already at home, so it made it a ton easier. Now they're going to be going to Kansas City. Hostile environment. But guess what? It's not as hostile as the Link because there's going to be some spitting on people. Honestly, it's not Jalen Carter's fault. Sure, Dak went ahead, he spat a little something at him, but Jalen Carter hocked up a man loogie. I can't hock up that loogie, but Jalen Carter can. Because he's a man, and I understand I had my bar mitzvah, but sometimes when you look at me, I kind of look like a prepubescent Hollister boy model. The Eagles' offense did look a bit shaky. It wasn't really Jalen Hurts' fault. It wasn't really A.J. Brown's fault, although he had one catch for 9 yards, I think, or 7 yards, or 6 yards. It wasn't really Devontae Smith's fault. Dallas Goedert got some work because they're only doing like 5 and ins, and I don't even know if that's a real word, but you just throw the ball five yards in on a little curl. Like, throw the ball downfield. Sure, the Ravens lost, and that's because of a weird late fumble. Also, the defense kind of stopped it with the gas. However, they could have absolutely won this game. They extended the field, which created holes and gaps for Derrick Henry to run in. That's where the Eagles need to go. Every single time someone gets Jalen Hurts, they're like, oh, he's so good. And by someone, I mean offensive coordinator because he gets a new one every year. Kind of like how there might be a new transformer every year, but you don't know. It's just Optimus Prime, and it takes you a couple weeks to realize. He's just going to get the ball, throw it short. That's fine. Whatever. I'm over that. Throw it deep. Come on. Let's win games. Also, I love Saquon Barkley. Stop running him on first down. They're going to stack the box. They know that. Go vertical. I can see the Eagles getting off to a slow start. However, both these teams have not played for a little bit. The rest advantage I do love for the Eagles. Jalen Carter's going to be pissed. This is just a perfect storm. Mahomes doesn't have any receivers to go to. As I'm talking through this, I'm like, this is exactly the type of game Mahomes will win. But I don't care. Go Birds. Take them at -1.5. Once it gets to 2, don't touch this game. Unless it gets to 3, then you have to take Mahomes. So official pick, Eagles -1.5. Time for the late game. Mr. Prime Time. J.J. McCarthy. Rush it in for a touchdown, but don't pass for more than 225 yards. Because guess what? That's what I had in a parlay. Oh, did he hit that? No, he didn't. Thanks, JJ. Thanks, JJ. Thanks a lot. Whatever. It's fine. They're coming off an emotional win against the Bears. Right now, they are 3.5-point favorites with 80% of the bets, but only 40% of the money backing them. That doesn't seem good. They got burned. I took Chicago at +1.5 or -1.5. I honestly forget. It doesn't matter. The Vikings are a strong team. Their defense is legit. Their coaching is fantastic. Falcons, they were kind of in this game. They were in their game against the Buccaneers. But Younghoe Koo can't kick a field goal to save his life. So thanks for that, Younghoe Koo. Thanks for that. Other than that, there are injury concerns with Mooney and London. However, they both look like they're going to be good to go, which is needed for Penix to really extend against this Vikings defense there. When this line came out and there were some of those injuries floating around there, the Falcons were at +5. I went ahead, snagged it, Caesar Sportsbook. I gave you the ticket if you need me to show you. However, this game becomes really tricky once it dips underneath that 4 at 3.5. I still lean the Falcons, and I'll put them in as my pick. Time for the show where I give my 5 best bets of what I'm feeling the most confident in, but we always know those ones end out being the worst, and it's always just all about the bets that you didn't think were going to hit, and then they hit, and you're like, oh, okay, that's fine. Starting off, Jets, +6.5. Second is going to be that Falcons +5 if I can count it, if not, +3.5. Eagles, -1.5. I do love that. Colts, +2.5. I love that. And Patriots, +2.5. Those are my 5. If that was only 4, well, Dallas Cowboys, -4.5. Simple as that, people. Let's go into the touchdown parlay anytime. Now, the touchdown parlay always comes at the point of this filming session where I am tired of speaking and I don't want to do any research, so I'm just going to start naming 3 different players to have a touchdown. This is not based on any statistics whatsoever. Starting off, the Colts. It's going to be tough to get anything going, and I don't know if I want to choose them, so now I am just avoiding it, but screw it, whatever. Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown. Next up, for the second out of 3, we're going to go ahead, dip into this Dallas game. We're going to go George Pickens, anytime touchdown. Sorry, Giants, get a secondary. Now, the third is going to be a game that's going to be important. And as I am going through this, I am thinking of a game where I'm seeing now the Chiefs-Eagles. And guess what? A.J. Brown, you're going to get a touchdown. So those are the 3 touchdowns. To recap, it's going to be Jonathan Taylor, A.J. Brown, and whoever I said the second time. What do you want from me? It's Friday. I have it's just glaring on me this late. I can't see that well. I need to go home, take a nap. I haven't logged into my Webkins. My Tamagotchi's probably gone by now. It's a lot. We're dealing with it. Kirk Cousins is out there somewhere taking out trash. I'm going to cook chicken thighs tonight. And just remember, God bless and I love you.